What's poppin', y'all? This is DJ with One Shot Game, man. You already know how the motto go. You get one shot at life, but a lifetime to learn all the game you need to help improve your life. The choice is yours on which route you choose to take. Now, as I always say, you get two choices. The ability to settle in the life that has been faithfully designed for you, or have the ability to pave the path towards your destiny. That choice is also up to you. So before I get into the title of my video, I want to say a big shout out to all my supporters. You guys are great, and even the ones behind the scenes, I see y'all too. So look, the title of this video is going to be on the fact that I'm different. I've always been different, and I basically am assessing my life and how it was and choosing to move in a different way. Now, being the fact that oftentimes I don't really have a need to explain myself, but again, maybe it just might give somebody insight on how to look at life differently. Listen, it is nothing wrong with working on yourself and being able to become the person that you would want your children to emulate, you know what I'm saying, and be, if you are really doing the work. But do not control and mirror them, mold them so much to where they're your exact replicas. Or should I say, how a lot of my era grew up was that people couldn't love themselves enough to find the partner they were looking for in their life, that they chose to mirror those traits to their children. It is creepy, it's weird, but if you really think about it, some people are treating their children as if they are their spouses. You know what I'm saying? Their children are made to pick up the duties of what their spouse should be doing, even though they're children. And what happens is oftentimes these kids get to an age to where it's hard to raise them because we have been treating them like adults their whole life. We have been putting them into scenarios where their mind had to react like an adult instead of allowing them to be children. So that whole phase of, you know what I'm saying, when you have children, that's your whole life, they become your life. Listen, that's true. But you protect them and allow them to be themselves while you live your life for you. Like for me personally, you know what I'm saying, I'm growing, I get it, but I would love to have a person in my life that can see life from my view, that can be able to sit down with me and have conversations where we align, we throw ideas across each other. They're supportive, I'm supportive, you know what I'm saying? One that knows me to a T, that can be able to, you know what I'm saying, assess me when my mood may be feeling down or in, you know, another place. The only person that can do that, you know what I'm saying, is an adult. You know what I'm saying? A child can cater to certain parts of who you are, but again, it's not to the point where people are making their children do things that spouses are supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Your kids are not supposed to cater to their parent. I don't believe that. In a way, you know what I'm saying? Yes, but not in a way to where you're basically not letting them live their life and they're supposed to cater to everything that you want them to do. You know what I'm saying? They're basically at your feet, at your beck and call, because you're not whole inside yourself to be able to attract a grown person to you. And listen, that has really strong defects as they become older, because now you want to, you know what I'm saying, hope they approach the situation from a kid aspect, but you got to think of how you've been raising them their whole life. You know what I'm saying? They only know how to come at situations from a mature adult, you know what I'm saying, mental space, because that's all they know. They didn't have a chance to be a child. You didn't give them the ability to be a child. They basically skipped over all those steps and went straight to being an adult. You know what I'm saying? And you want them to respond, and they really don't know because they don't have the wisdom of an adult. They're still a child. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I'm telling you, that causes a lot of mental uproars in people's brains. People who had to grow up too fast in scenarios and be in situations where they tend to not mature as adults, and when they get older, they start to have the emotional maturity of a child still, because they weren't allowed to be a child. They were thrown into adult situations. You know what I'm saying? You have to give these children room enough to be able to live life and experience life on their own, but protect them. They are not, you know what I'm saying, your spouses. They are not the people that you allow to do everything that you do, because when they get a certain age and they start going against the grain and doing things that they're not ready for, you're going to get upset. But really it's the wrong reaction, because they didn't have the chance to be a child. You threw them into adult situations and it basically took over their childhood. And so they respond in a way where it's coming from an adult mental space, but it takes time for them to actually realize, hey, I have no idea what's going on in this circumference. I am extremely uncomfortable because I may have thought I was ready for this, but I'm not. You know what I'm saying? And listen, it takes time before they usually get to a point where they understand that it's best to just be a child while I can. But again, listen, you have to know yourself enough to be able to become aware of who you are, to know if you're giving your children that space, if you're keeping them too close, are you treating them like their spouses? Like, listen, it's a lot of moms who, when they have sons and their sons grow up and they tend to now start creating their own families, they do whatever they can to keep them trapped in. So what happens is usually that son ends up going against the family he creates to defend the one that he came from. And it's a weird trajectory because it's like really real life emotional abuse. You know what I'm saying? And it's hard to break out of. It's hard to go out on your own and live your own life without feeling like you have that vendetta with your family, when really, listen, to be able to soar on your own, you can't take that personal. You know, they were trying to keep you in the circle to protect themselves, not because they wanted you to be free and have your own life. You feel me? It's a way that you can parent, you can be a business owner, you can be a great mom, you can have a loving marriage, you can have it all. But I'm just saying, for the people that grew up in my era, we were taught to keep our children close. And that led to a lot of children basically emulating the people that raised them. They didn't get a chance to be a child because they're too busy trying to keep up with the mom or the dad. You know what I'm saying? And they're forced to be in situations at a young age. But that causes a lot of conflict as they get older in those teenage years. That's why I think a lot of people say it's hard, it's difficult. You got to let them float on their own. You got to let them live life on their own, because they're looking at life from your lens without the wisdom and experience behind it. Understand, protection is important. If you see something going wrong that can hurt them and you gave them the space and they keep doing it, that's when you enforce your protection. And at some point, you know what I'm saying, they'll understand and they'll get it, because they'll start to realize there's cause and effect. You can't just do everything that you see. You know what I'm saying? You have no experience behind that. You do not know what comes with that. You just think that because you see it, you can do it. And if, listen, the parents are not strong enough to fight that, they're going to think it's okay until you start realizing you having hella conflict between the kids and the parents. That's stressful. You know what I'm saying? No parent wants to have conflict with their child all the time. But that's because you're having them too attached. You're not allowing them to have the freedom to be themselves. And you're attaching them to grown-up situations before they're ready. You know? And so now they start to be in this over-possessive, protective mode. They don't want you to date. They don't want you to be with nobody. They don't want you to have a successful marriage, business, nothing, because you have to constantly be attached to them at all times. You know? So, listen, give them the space to be themselves so they can attract the people that are for them by becoming who they are. They can't become who they are if you're their shadow. And you're basically possessing and controlling them to be a certain way. They don't have the room and space to figure out who they are. And listen, it may seem cool when they're young, but as they get older and they start to form their own identity, it starts to become very stressful, because they start talking back, they start getting disrespectful, because you haven't allowed them the space to be them. They're mirroring the aspect of you where you kept them trapped. And people don't understand that. People have never known the knowledge and the logic that comes behind that, but it's a true thing. I've had a firsthand experience with it. It's very confrontational when you're trying to come at the situation with love. and all they know is attachment. All they know is obsessiveness. All they know is cater to me. So when you tell them something that they're doing that's wrong, they don't see it that way. They see it as, now you're going against me. You're not for me. And I'm going to disrespect you because I thought you was for me. I thought I had you wrapped around my finger to do whatever I wanted you to do because you mirrored me to basically be like you instead of having the ability to be myself. Listen, it's toxic. It's strange. It's weird. I don't have certain conversations with my child. I'm not as open as I used to be with her. I keep her at a certain distance to where she's able to formulate her life for herself because you're 13 years old. You don't have the wisdom or experience that I have. You haven't been in half of the situations I've been in. You have no idea what it's like in some of the situations I've been in. But if I talk to you and explain to you, you're going to feel as if it's you. And you're going to come at it from thinking you know what you would do in that situation, even though you've never experienced it. It's crazy, but it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Don't do that to your children. Keep your children in children's place by not controlling them, not becoming, aggressive and mean and whooping them when they go against the grain, but allowing them the freedom to be them without you constantly hovering over them. You know what I'm saying? They will link up with who they're supposed to link up with. They will do what is right if you give them the space in their means to be safe to do so. You know what I'm saying? Because their energy will start to realize that they're uncomfortable in certain situations where they thought they knew mentally what to do, but they're coming back down to realizing, hey, I'm just a child. This is not somewhere I should be, and this is not something I should do. I'm feeling unsafe in my body. I'm feeling something strange. I don't know what's going on, and I need to call my mom or I need to call my dad. And once they figure that out, and if they're coming from a healthy space, they're going to give them the information and guidance to why you may be feeling that way. You're feeling that way because you know you're doing something that you have no experience in, and you're only doing it because you watched me and I exposed you to toxic situations before you were ready. And so you think that you know what you're doing, but you don't, because you have no experience in it. And that can cause a lot of confusion mentally. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's kind of like, listen, you can balance all of them, but you have to know yourself first. If you don't know yourself and you just looking for attachment, you're going to get in a relationship where you value and obsessive over that person, and it's going to take away from the child. Then they're going to start to feel some type of way. They're going to get lost in the world. You have to know yourself. You feel me? But I've realized now, like, listen, no, you sleep in your own bed. You got your own room. Listen, you got your own stuff. I'm not talking to you about adult situations. We is not spouses and buddy. We is mother and daughter, mother and son. You know what I'm saying? Adults and children. It's a big separation between the two. But we have to start treating it like it is, instead of looking at your children as a replacement for you feeling lonely. They are not a replacement for that. They are children. And then you're going to get upset at them when they don't listen and they don't respect you because you put them in adult energy before they were ready. Scale it back. You know what I'm saying? If you cannot connect with other adults, that must mean you still have some growing to do inside of yourself. You feel me? And until that becomes your focus and your awareness, you can't expect a child to cater to parts of you where they have no wisdom at. It's gonna be like an attack. You know what I'm saying? But listen, listen, it's somebody out there for everybody once you truly find who you are. And listen, I'm patient. I don't need nobody. You feel me? I'm content by myself, but at the same time, it would be nice to be able to talk to people or talk to someone that knows me. You know what I'm saying? Someone that knows me inside out, upside down, so I won't feel as if I'm the oddball out. You feel me? But at the same time, I'm not a possessive tool. You can't control me. Like, you get what I'm saying? That just means you've harnessed your own energy to yourself. And you are aware of that. And you know what I'm saying? People can't penetrate your energy because they're also high vibrational as well. People that are low vibrational and you high vibrational, sometimes they get obsessed and attached, and they start just doing things that you do and start emulating and copying. You know what I'm saying? Because they are low vibrational. So again, realize and understand that. Stop treating your children as if they are your spouses. It sounds weird to y'all, but energetically, I've seen it a lot growing up in the era I've been in, solely because a lot of the women couldn't find a man. You feel me? And a lot of the men were with low vibrational women, you know what I'm saying, to where oftentimes the kids fill the roles of the parents as spouses, and they end up playing roles that they're not ready for. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? Find yourself before you find your person, because they're out there. But understand it's a difference. It's children and it's adults. It's mothers and it's daughters. It's mothers and it's sons. It's fathers, sons, and fathers and daughters. They're not the one and the same. But you have to be emotionally mature to understand that. Otherwise, you're going to put them in situations that they're going to feel as if they know what they're doing because they've watched you do it. Don't do that. You feel me? Because when they become adults, now they emotionally can't give an adult what they want because they do not know how to be a child. Because they had to grow up so fast, they didn't have time to be a child. So now they're handling situations backwards. Adults coming at situations from an immature child, you know what I'm saying? And then it causes confusion. You can't be in a relationship with nobody if you can't handle your emotions. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna have destruction. You can put all the cake and glitter and stuffing in the beginning, but over time you start to see that this is not somebody I want to do life with, because you handling your emotions from a child perspective. And if you know anything about them, you will know that they didn't have a chance to be a child because they were thrown into adult situations before they had the time. You know what I'm saying? And now their childhood was gone. So now they find themselves feeling it at an adult age. Now, it's nothing wrong to jump in between realms and be a kid. So I like to do some of the stuff I like to do when I was a kid, but I know how to separate the two. You know what I'm saying? I will not burden my child. She will not mirror me. She will not be under me all the time. Listen, no, because what you're doing is studying how you think you should approach life without getting a full view of how to do it for your age bracket and who you are. You feel me? Listen, I'm telling you, I think that main thing right there, it got a lot of people off balance in life. You know what I'm saying? And why a lot of people from my era are not in healthy relationships, because of the fact that people's childhoods were stolen. And so because of that, we get into adult situations thinking we know who we are, and we don't. And we handle it from the kid version of ourselves. And oftentimes people only stick around, but not long enough to be able to deal with you while you grow. Because again, you didn't even realize that's what you was doing. You feel me? It was never knowledge that was on the forefront. It was never nothing that was talked about. So don't nobody know. That's why you probably could never find a man. That's why you probably could never find a wife, because emotionally you grew up too fast. And you may be a certain age, but you really 10 in the head. And listen, I'm telling you right now, don't nobody want to be arguing like cats and dogs. Don't nobody want to be going back and forth all the time. You know what I'm saying? At some point, people want to acquire peace, meaning that you have to know how to handle yourself to achieve that. You feel me? So it's now a time where, listen, my child is her and I am me. We are the same, but we're different. You know what I'm saying? You grow in areas where you need to grow, and I'm there to protect you, but I cannot shelter you. I cannot hover over you, because then you're going to think that you're an adult and you're not. You know what I'm saying? You're a child. So listen, be patient. Take your time. Learn yourself. Love yourself. You feel me? And when the time is right, you'll meet the perfect person for you. You feel me? But please stop making your kids be y'all fall to guys. And like y'all spouses, they got to erase their childhood to cater to you. That is not a kid's position. That is not a kid's, you feel me, ideal life. They do not want to live that life, but it looks good because you're the mom. Stop doing that. You know what I'm saying? That child is going to grow up and be very unhealthy. You know, we're trying to change the dynamics of that. So listen, if you don't know what it is, I just told you. Please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe.